Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Like I always say, I hope you guys enjoy these weekly analysis. This week's been or last week was or well, this week, sorry, was pretty hectic. So, obviously, hope you guys stick true to your plan. Hope you guys analyze everything and are continue to analyze it, right? And so, like I always say, any video that you guys enjoy, or if you guys enjoy this analysis, make sure you can either drop a comment or just like it, right? Don't ask for any subscribers or anything, just a thumbs up or a comment, just to know if it helps you or not, right? And so, yeah, let's get straight into it, right? Last week, our weekly levels were, um, we had all-time highs as weekly bullish above. We also had, oh, sorry, we had, 6094 as the weekly bullish above, reclaiming above that 6094. After that, and then also we had 602450 as the weekly low, and kind of like a little consolidation, right? And so this week was actually a pretty great week for me, for trading itself. So I'm gonna obviously, like I always do, recap and start off Monday. I actually ended up taking a short. So Marcus saw a massive, and again, disregard a couple of these levels, right? These are just kind of intraday levels that I get from the fixed CPO, or the intraday volume profiles. So one thing I want to talk about is, on Monday, the biggest important thing was the weekly bearish below level, and we had it around 24.5, and again, that was based off last week's low of the week, and also that little consolidation. And so, in my opinion, if I saw a continuation below that level, we would see the most weak scenarios for sellers. And so that's something we saw, right? We saw this massive sell-off, massive sell-off. And I was actually intraday. I don't remember exactly what I was looking for, and if I was to keep it up, I would. Let me see. Let me just see. Okay, 25.5. I was looking at that little consolidation that we saw around that morning. In that morning, is this was Monday on the 20? Oh, the 24. I'm sorry. 24. Looking to see if we opened up within last week's low volume node, which is kind of this area right here. If we did see that, we could expect some slowness in there as we attempt to fill it up, and then also watching the VIX around 18.5, which was really important for me. And so we saw the market actually sell off, and I actually had no signs of anything. I didn't have any levels except the weekly bearish below. And so once we saw that sell off and we got below that weekly bearish level, I then saw a pullback into that level right around that time, and then we immediately saw a rejection back down. That immediately for me was extra confluence. Once we saw that rejection, that snap below the weekly bearish below level, as you could see when we came here, we saw a couple bounces. We saw a snap down below it, break below. We pulled back a minute later and then sold off again, and that's when I took the market short, right? It was just a simple breakdown, retest, and a continuation. And for me, I took profit right, and just to fully be transparent, I took profit around, again, you can see entered right below, entered right at that, and I took profit at 6008 and 6002, right? Those were my levels, and that's where I took profit. Again, great Mondays to start off, great start for the week. And that's just important because that weekly bearish below level was pretty important. You can eventually see that we did eventually pull back up around that, close to that area, and then we saw a continuation down. Once we saw a reclaim above it, we held it, and we kind of held it for support a couple other times. Again, the the weekly levels are the most important in my opinion when it comes to that, right? Um, then on Tuesday was a little lackluster. Took a couple trades, ended up pretty break even on the day. Um, we saw some interesting activity around Tuesday, but the most noticeable trade was around this consolidation level where we saw a breakdown. We built some volume below here, saw a breakdown, and then we saw a pullback that ended into some continuation to the downside, which was pretty good. Again, this was all based off my levels exactly as well. Always very transparent. You could see that in the morning we were seeing that consolidation. I wasn't really interested unless we could see some sign. And I was also looking at the 96 level, which was really important for me. And if you were to see that 96, we were chopping around it, but again, we couldn't continue higher. And so once we saw a break below, we actually did see a pullback afterwards into that level. But again, I did not take the market short just because the VIX was not aligning with it. The VIX for me was not aligning with it. So once I saw that VIX was pushing higher, then I was looking to take the market short, right? And just for extra confluence. And so that ended up happening, but again, my short was a little lackluster because I got stopped out around here for a couple point loss and then break even once I took the trade around here. So okay, Tuesday for me. You could even see that 96, and this 96 is going to be very important throughout the week, right? Okay, now Wednesday. Wednesday was a pretty big day because it's something noticeable that although I have my plans based off this on here we had this was, let me just pull it up. Wednesday, I believe, was the 26th. So on the 26th, I had the levels 96 and we also had 34. Remember? And so you could kind of see that around 96, and 96 was a bit higher, but 34 was way lower, right? And we opened up around here. Now the biggest notable thing around here was actually the intraday action, right? It wasn't any of the levels that I had predetermined, but rather what was the market was telling me. And you can see around that time there was some weird activity, some weird activity. And if I were to pull at it, around that time, and one thing I want to start also getting into is kind of maybe recording my trades to just show you guys the full transparency and maybe uploading those. But again, I'll look into that, and if that's something that is cool or you guys are interested in, I'll definitely upload it. But around 85, we saw some large orders around here. You could actually see it visually. This is a heat map, and you can see that around this 85 level, there were some large orders that transacted once and twice. And these were some large orders. I'm talking more than 1,000 lots, which is to me very abnormal, and that's something I keep my eye on. So once we saw that break above, and we saw this rally above with all that strong buying, I was then looking to take the market long. And if you see here, if there's a pullback at 85, which is where that large buying was and those large orders was, I'll take the market long. And so that's exactly what I did, right? Once it broke up above, we saw a pullback into that little range. We did get a deeper pullback, so I didn't really get entered up here. But once I saw that get back above those 85s and those pullbacks into the 85s hold, that's when I took that market long, and it was a great trade because I took it long around. You could see 85s. We saw that, and then I took profit at 96, which was the intraday bullish above level for me, and then 6004, which is the pre-market high around there. So overall, great trade on there, and that was an amazing day. But yeah, again, those you could just see how sometimes intraday action tells you clues and stuff like that. And you can even see around those 85s were pretty important because you can see we bounced here once, we even rejected it and used that as resistance a couple other times. Thursday. Thursday, another great trade. Again, it was a pretty good week overall. Um, Thursday, another great day. 96 was still on watch, and I believe just to show you guys the full transparency, on 96 that was on the 27th. 96 was something I was still looking at. It was going to be a really important level, and it will even be pretty important for the weekly analysis once I show you guys. So we were looking at the yesterday's excess at 49 and also 96. So again, we opened around 96, kind of consolidating. You can even see it in the pre-market. We were kind of consolidating around here, those 96s. We bounced, and my intraday analysis was, let's see. We could see same thing as yesterday, a large order at 6,002. And so for me, it was important to kind of see now that once we got below those 96s, and the VIX was actually not even pushing lower. One thing I was looking at is for today, I was watching the VIX around 18, which has been a key level for me. So only problem I see right now is this was when the market was rallying. Around this time when the market was rallying, I said only problem I see right now is that this rally is happening with zero downside moving on the VIX. So as the market was pushing higher, the VIX was not selling off or pushing lower. So to me, that's a really big red sign, and that's something that I do not want to trade because it's not in my confluence. And so, again, once we saw that failed rejection, we went lower, even despite the market rallying above 96, right? I was still not interested in it, just because of the VIX. And then once I saw that, you could see that it was pushing down due to the VIX not rallying. Again, this is all my personal analysis. Maybe it wasn't because of the VIX not pushing down, but to me, in my opinion, based off what I know and what I've learned, is that VIX not pushing down as market is rallying, or vice versa. If the market is pushing down and VIX is not rallying, it's kind of a divergence, which is something to be careful of. So then I was gauging areas for around the 93 to 96 for a pullback. We did get a pullback, but a little bit lower. I wanted a little bit higher at the 93s, so we didn't get that. And then I said I'm looking for a pullback around the 89s. If we could hold, never got that. And then the pullback actually happened once we saw this consolidation below here. We broke below, and you can see, yes, one thing I want to point out is that for me, candle structure is not the most important thing, right? To me, it's the activity intraday. And so, again, I'm sorry if I'm taking long, but I just want to be able to explain all my trades throughout the week and how I took them. We saw this breakdown, but again, a lot of people see this as a hammer. It's like, oh, okay, this is some bullish activity, right? If this is a hammer down here, we're gonna go higher just based off candle structure. To me, no. To me, it was the market was pushing lower, and you could see, and based off like my intraday charts and stuff like that, we pushed lower. Then we pulled back right into that volume area around 78. You can see we even pushed 2 points higher. And then once we saw that, you could not see any really buying activity. And once we got above that level, it was actually moving quite slow. That's when I took the market short. And again, just based off that below the intraday bullish level, and we were just looking for that. You could see took the market short right there based off the consolidation. Took profit off the 70s and the 60, 75. I regret maybe not selling a bit lower just because due to the sellers being more in control throughout the whole week, and shorts paying off more, meaning that like for me below the weekly bearish level right below those 60-24 fives, you're gonna in my opinion, I want to hold shorts longer compared to longs. And so I should have maybe held a little bit longer in hindsight, but again, I took it off at my levels. I took off the runners and everything, and overall just really great, right? And then Friday, actually, that was my only L for the week. Unfortunately, I was trying to have a perfect week, but again, it was a pretty lackluster week despite that. And again, 89 was my level, but again, you can kind of see how choppy we were despite the volatility, and we just chopped around. We really just chopped around. We sold off eventually. The biggest thing to note was definitely for me, I was paying close attention to 5% correction level, and the reason why I say that is the market likes to sell off at key bounce at key areas. And for me, that's the 5% correction level and the 10% correction level, right? And you can see that 5% correction level was just it was to the tick. 1 point below, and you can see since that it was holding it. Actually, you could even see we bounced off it, we broke below and then reclaimed it, even bounced off it there again. But the reason why I don't want to take it long is just despite like this market was selling off strong, 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 and it just bounced quick. That was a quick bounce, right? And so I was actually looking for some pullbacks around this area deeper, and I actually took an entry around here, around the 74, which I got stopped out here. And then once again, we broke above that volume. We retested it right here, and that's when I took it long again, stopped out again. And then my last entry was similar around that area, and that's when I stopped out. And for me, that's 3 losses, and I'm done for the day. That's my rules, and that's the rules I follow and stick true to. And so in hindsight, obviously there were some things that were not aligning with my analysis of the long, with VIX one of them being not selling off. So it's again things in hindsight and kind of mistakes on my end. But again, overall, great week. For me, that was a really phenomenal week. I had lots of points of profit in that. But again, that was just my week, my weekly analysis, and not to get in, or my weekly trades, and not to get into the weekly analysis, right? And 24.5 is going to be important, right? I'm still going to keep it there, but it's just not going to be my weekly bearish level, right? It's going to be an area where I'm actually looking to maybe target, right? But for me, and another one is still going to be I keep the same weekly levels. If they didn't get touched or if they were actually respected, I keep them, right? If they're not respected, or if they're just like chopped around in and just too much touches, I take them off. But for me, the based off what I've seen already, the weekly bullish above level I wanted to be the 94, right? 96 was really important for me throughout the whole week, but the 94 right now, based off this weekly profile, just seems more important, just based off if we're able to get above that high volume node within that week, we form kind of this triple distribution, right? One right here, one right there, one right there. So to me, if we get above that 94, then we do have a high possibility of hitting those 24s, right? Bullish above, and that's something I'll be looking at, right? And for my weekly bearish below level, it's definitely going to be that 5% correction level around that that 58 level, and I have it marked intraday, but I don't have it marked here. So if you want to just mark it, I'm just keeping it for you guys. From that 58 to 52 level is going to be really important. You can mark it up as a zone. It's going to be like this. But again, I'm going to take it off just because I already have it on my chart. Um, where is rectangle? Why can I? Okay. If you want to just keep it there, right, that 58, 52 is going to be pretty important. So just keep it there. Again, that's that 5% correction mark, right, from all-time highs. If you do see it, if you want to pull up a calculator, right, 6163 or 6163.75 times 0.95 is going to give you that 58, 56 correction level, which is kind of that 5% correction level, right? And so that's something I wanted to keep in mind. And, oh, sorry, that's not even all-time highs. All-time highs currently where it stands is 61.66.5 to be just more exact. 61. That's where you want to always get it from. 66.5, right? Sorry about that, guys. 61.66.5, yeah. Times that by 0.95, which is that 5% correction, is going to be that 58.58, right? That's where I have that 5% correction level. So again, pretty important. If we are able to get below that, then 100% do I believe that there is more downside move, right? And that 52 level is also based off a couple weeks ago profile, that kind of high volume, lower end of that high volume node. So that's why I want to keep it a zone there. But again, that's something just to keep on the lookout for. Pay attention. And another level that's going to be pretty important throughout the week. And again, some of these I put these when it's pretty apparent. It's going to be the 6130 level. Again, same thing as that weekly bullish above level. If we're able to hold above those 30s, then there's a high chance we traverse through this high volume node. And there's a high chance that if we're within this high volume node, there's going to be some choppy conditions. But again, that 5930 is just kind of that area that marks the difference between that high volume node and that other distribution level, kind of that little low volume area that I'll be looking for. So again, pretty important levels, stuff I'll be on the lookout for this week. For the VIX, and just to keep it up, I'll keep it up. Let me see. For the VIX, it's going to be pretty important to, again, for the week, we didn't really see, we saw kind of some interesting activity, and again, I always update this every day. But again, one thing I want to be on the lookout for is that 18 level. That 18 level on that VIX, right? That 18 level was pretty important throughout the whole week. Another thing I want to keep on a lookout for is that 17.7 level, which is an area where if you see the market keeps on bouncing. 1875, really important. 1935 and 2010, right? Another thing I wanted to point out is that the VIX, every time we come and rally around these areas, we make a lower highs. One right there, one right there, one right there, and another one right there, right? If the market wants to sell off lower, and if you want to see continuation to the downside, we're gonna have to get above these pivotal areas, right? Above these pivotal areas are going to be really important. So again, above that 2010, we should see a higher move up to possibly even 2060, 2040, or 2135, 2140 or 2135. So that's just something to keep on the lookout for. But again, that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. I'm sorry if this is a longer video than usual. Sorry if I yap longer than usual. Just wanted to obviously, replay my trades for you guys and show you guys what I took. But again, if you guys really enjoy this video, whatever it is, a like, a comment, anything works. Doesn't really matter. But again, make sure still follow your plans. Always have that daily analysis. Always have that daily plan before the market opens. And again, trade patiently. Follow your rules, follow your plans, and always make sure those runners or those winning trades are bigger than your losing trades by at least 3 times. So again, hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you guys next one.